come to a program on target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything. Politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, issues trending, any subject matter, any issue of the day, we can speak about it. From Africa to the war in Russia, Ukraine, a number of the countries in Africa, about 4 or 5 of them now have coup d'etat. And they have challenges with the United States, Europe, France. You know, Africa seems to be revolting in every creek and corner. We in the Caribbean here have our issues, and we never have a dull moment in Grenada. If it's one thing you could face, Grenada is always in the spotlight. So you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We on 91.9 Real FM. We on YouTube and Facebook. Social media and technology have provided different mediums, different via, different avenues for us to express ourselves. No one sector of the society has the ability to command the airwaves, no. You can get your 2 pence in, irrespective of how you put it. You can get it in, and that is important. So this morning, give me a call. The number to call is 442-0175. You could determine what we speak about. But the fact remains is that we have just come out from the recess, the longest break in the education system, particularly when you're in primary and secondary school. It is definitely the longest break. It is the most dramatic break. About 6 to 8 weeks, children on holiday, and they come out from the carnival, and they're going back to school now. And some kids are promoted to secondary school. It's a whole experience. It's a challenge for all of us in our society. All of us. Not those who only have children in school, but for the whole country. We must learn to accept that challenge and make attempt to address it. Your child is going to school, our children is going to school. What do you expect from your children after the period in school? Maybe for the next 5 years or the next 10, 13 and a half years, they will be in school. If they're going into secondaries for 5 years, if they're just going in primary school, it's 13 and a half. If they move on to university, well, maybe for the next 16 years, they will be studying. When they finish study, they're expected to start to live their life. Maybe by that age, 18 or 20. And that means they would have to work for 40 years. By the time they're 60, they're ready to retire. If they don't ready to retire, the young ones will throw them out. It don't seem that we have a society that is very tolerant to old people. We want them to leave the system. We claim the barren space. I've said to some young comrades, when you start to work at 20, you have 40 years to provide for yourself. On the road, you may pick up weight. You may pick up load. You might get a wife. You might get some wives. You might pick up some children. You may pick up friends. But by the time 60, you would have to retire. And if you live to reach 100, then that for period of time, for 40 years you work, you have to be able to provide yourself for the next 40 years if you reach 100. I've always encouraged young people to plan for 100 years. Plan for 100 years, not 30. Some men pick up a woman end up in a relationship with a woman, pick up song kind of crude and agricultural. They fall in love, they say. And the woman was looking like a Spanish banjo or a Coke bottle. And after a couple of years, she looked as a sugar jar. And all teeth in she mouth followed. And because the man was not planning for 100 years, the relationship come to naught. Never expect she would have changed. And the same thing. The man look old, the teeth in the mouth followed. Waist start to give trouble. Bad sign. Waist giving trouble. And the woman is ready to quit. Because they did not plan for 100 years. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother, good morning.
And to our faithful Grenadian and diaspora listening ship. I just want to join you this morning in recognizing our students, our parents, teachers, administrators, cleaners, transportation providers, as students um, enter a new phase in the academic journey. Um, you have articulated quite a number of relevant issues about the long holiday, the and expectations, etc., etc. I want to say that this school year is going to be a a challenging one, and challenging in the sense that for the very first time in our recent history, we have all students being granted entrance to secondary school. What does that mean? That means that the students who learn at different pace, have different abilities, are all now clustered in classrooms with the same teacher in the same environment, the same learning space, and it is going to as an educator yourself, and certainly I have been an educator all of my life also. We understand the intricacies that come with having students of varied ability in the same classroom, and having those classroom those a very large classroom. So unless you are trained, unless you have assistants and you're well prepared for that kind of a learning environment, it is going to be a challenge. And so what I'm saying this morning is that I join with you in prayer for our teachers and the school system as they absorb this new trajectory in educating our nation's children. Um, it is never an easy task. So I want to join with you in lifting up the teachers as they endeavor. I know you are a man of faith. You're a man of prayer. This morning I was able to join with the his leader of the His Majesty opposition, and Honorable Emlyn Pierre, as they coalesce a prayer, a 1 hour prayer this morning, beautifully organized and done by several distinguished people, presenters, motivators, and ministers, who prayed for very specific things about our education system. There were prayer for parents, there were prayer for the auxiliary staff, the students, the teachers, the administrators, safety on the road. Certainly, prayer also for students to have retentive and good cognitive skills as they are taught, so that they could remember and be good citizens. And one of the things, Mr. Pierre, I don't want to take a lot of your time, but one of the things that you stress, and I know you throughout your presenting, you talk about the disparity in the education system between male and female outcomes, and how that translate in issues, social issues, between boys and girls or males and females. And also, we have in our system graduating students who could barely read and write. And I know that that has always been a concern of yours. So I join with you this morning in extending best wishes and prayers for our educators, our education system, and certainly our students in this very this is a very challenging time. And as you have, you talk about preparing for life, and I am hoping that we would see more of that coming through our education system, where we prepare students for life. And it does not always mean academic life. It could mean skills and vocational life, or just common sense life. In other words, being able to make emotionally intelligent decision and be wise about life. So
Before you
thank you,
go,
sir.
before you go,
Yes, sir. Yes.
one thing I want you to help me speak about is the importance of parents praying for their children and blessing their children before they leave home every morning.
Mr.
See
Pierre,
how you
Mr.
could help
Pierre,
with
listen.
that.
This this is one. This, people. I think we sometimes we get so encapsulated. That's the word I want to use. Encapsulated with the gadgets and with the TV very early in the morning. As you jump out of bed, you turn on the radio, you turn on the music, you turn on the TV, rather than pausing for a moment to be thankful to the Creator for waking you up and for giving you a sound mind and for giving you food, and letting young children from the very early stages of their development, letting them understand that there is a power in our lives and in the world that is greater than man, and greater than the brightest of us, and is more powerful than any force that is out there that can help us navigate life. And so it comes for many through prayer and a belief in God and Jesus and what He can do for us. But tell you this: I am a man of prayer. You are a person of, a very strong Christian belief and prayer. Also, I know that about you, family, and we have testimonies of when we dedicate our children and our lives to God and prayer, um, that there are good outcomes. So use your program, sir, and I join with you absolutely, encouraging parents to pray with their children, pray at their bedside with them when they wake up in the morning, or if you choose when they are going to bed at night, you pray with them and thanking God for leading them, protecting them, guiding them, and providing for them. Thank you, sir.
Yes, caller, thank you very much. And the caller touched on a important note this morning. Irrespective of what we have in the infrastructure, the government, the education system, the school, the parents have to understand that your child is a gift from God. You have some people that will pay millions of dollars to make a child. They have money, they don't broke. They have education, they have intellect, but they don't have a child. You have some people that praying and wishing to have a child. You have some people, if they wish hard, well, they don't even have to wish hard. They're making children as if God make them to make children. And nothing is wrong with that, because we don't live in a vacuum. We live all together. We have to encourage people to pray for their children and play with their children and bless your children. When your children are about to leave home in the morning, put your hand on them. Thank God. There are some religious groups in our country that make the sign of the cross. The sign of the cross is a powerful prayer. Make the sign of the cross. If you don't know what to say, make the sign of the cross. Put your hand on your children's head and make the sign of the cross. Pray for your children. And you know, sometimes I always say women. And some of the women, they say I'm attacking women. Yes, I'm attacking women. Because between 0 to 16 years, the woman spend more time with the child than the man. And I'm talking that is generally speaking. Because there are some men that grow up their children from day one and women are not involved. But in the majority of cases, it's the women. Pray for your children. If you pray with the children every morning and you pray for them every morning before they go, I believe that the children will be more peaceful. There'll be less conflict in the school. We must believe that we are the light, not other people. If you're in a room and the room is completely dark, when you enter, you must be the light. Let your children know that they must be the peacemaker, not other children. They have to be the peacemaker. And pray for your children and bless your children. There is a number of religions that make the sign of the cross. The sign of the cross is the most powerful symbol for a number of Christians. Make the sign of the cross. Let them know the importance of making it. And pray with your children. Remember, we're taking on the principalities. Some of the distractions that we have today. The music that we just come out from Carnival. Let the children know Carnival is over. Let them know they don't have to turn the jab. Your child don't have to turn a jab. You play jab. But no, you don't have to turn jab. Let them know the importance of education and the school. Let them know the importance of some of the subjects. Some subjects in the school is more important than others. Mathematics. No matter what you do, you have to pay government tax. So mathematics is very important. Otherwise, you may not be able to calculate tax and they will give one amount of penalty. Since you're dealing with money, maths is important. Let your children know that. Culture our children to gravitate towards mathematics. You parents that go to the supermarket, the slip of paper that you collect every day, take it. Take your receipt. Particularly if you make plenty message, take your receipt. Cut out the total and give your children to check. I know some of you don't have no time to sit down and check if it's correct. Let the children check it and you have the total. We have to find practical, tangible, simple ways to encourage our children to learn in an informal setting. Chemistry is very important. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes, my brother, welcome.
And how are you, sir?
Great, man.
Right. I want to first of all congratulate the government in the improvement in assistance that they have given to the school children in the new opening now, where they have made school fees more or less start off free in most cases, and the standard that they would have helped to bring in. I understand that they will be teaching Grenadian history, and that they will be teaching a few foreign language in the schools. So wherever they are doing anything necessary to increase the children's knowledge, I commend them for that. There was some difference in the notices that was given out in terms of free tuition and whatnot, but I think they have settled up that. So now they know what they get in free. And
so it's not free again, they're paying a percentage of it.
Yes, yeah. So I think wherever the government could help the children, help the parents, is good, because money is not easy to come by now. Parents have to do a lot in terms of supporting their children, especially with food stuff and so these days. So wherever the government could chip in, is good for them. But one of the problems is that children are very hard to manage in school these days.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Huh?
I don't necessarily, people always say that, but
Well,
a million years ago, children is just a children now, children.
No.
You think it's harder to manage children now than yesterday?
Yeah.
It's easier to manage children now?
No, not in my way.
Okay, go on.
I have seen it that the children are very, very, very hard to manage, and they don't have respect. In a lot of cases, they don't respect the teachers. I have been around the schools, and so I'm speaking from experience. They don't respect the teachers, and teachers go way out of the way. Although there are times when the teachers, there are things that I didn't support in the teachers, like they strike and whatnot. I didn't support that, but there are times I could tell you teachers go out of their way to help students. I have that personality thing, It's not an easy job. Even the cooks in the school have it tough with the children. I could tell you that. It's not an easy job, but the teachers have been doing well, and the cooks and so what we call the auxiliary staff in the school have a lot to control the children in school. I know that. But wherever the government chip in well, I give them the praise. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, scholar. I tend to believe that the government make it mandatory that children go to school from 5 years. And I agree with that. The government make provision for children to go to school from 250, from 2 years and a half. And I agree with that. The government, I don't know if this program is still going on, but you had a program in the previous government where they had teachers going to the home, individuals going to the home to help children between 6 months and 2.5 years. Why that is so? Governments recognize that education is important and you cannot leave it up to parents alone. There are some parents, if they were not forced to send their children to school, they would not have sent them. So the government have a responsibility, an equal responsibility to provide for the children in school. The government have an equal responsibility. And sometimes governments send double signals for political reasons. Education is free. What does that mean? If you decide to contribute more significantly to the fees that the children pay, say that. But don't say education is free, and when people go inside there, they have all sorts of fees. That is when government giving double signal. They're giving signal for political reasons. We should not do that. We ought not to do that. We're going to contribute more to the fees that you have to pay. We're going to pay 50% of the fees that you have to pay. We're going to pay 75% of the fees that you have to pay. Government must be clear, simple, straightforward, practical. Stop playing games. And that's why government have to come back and give explanation and try to fix. There are some things we mustn't play politics with. I don't agree with the statement. I don't agree that teachers doing well. I look at your performance based upon your productivity. And over 70% of our children exiting school cannot meet the basic education. And as a result of that, they are less competitive on the job market. The statistics says that 60% of the children looking for jobs, not children, the people looking for jobs, the young people looking for jobs, do not have the skills and the attitude for the jobs that are available. So I don't believe that our teachers are producing enough. I think we could do much more. We are better off today than yesteryear. In Grenada, electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none, comparable with the best and better than most. We have a very good network of roads in Grenada, and the quality of the roads is reasonable when you compare it with the rest of the Caribbean. The physical condition of our schools are better than most countries in the Caribbean. Our teacher-to-children ratio is better than most in the developing world. And government has risen to the occasion and bring the technology in the school. So we're in a much better position in terms of these infrastructures and aids and assistance and education and training than yesteryear. So we should be performing better. I don't believe that parents is hungry for education. Parents must be hungry for education. Parents is not hungry for education, as they should. And I believe that we have to put a lot of emphasis on parents to make them know that they could change the situation with their children. If they are hungry for education, their children will do better in school. We could help them. They don't even have to spend more time and more effort. They just have to incorporate their hunger in their daily life. So let me give you an example. You have flowers around your house. Involve your children in knowing the names of the flowers. That's not hard. You could even cut cardboard and let your children tie the names of the flowers. You could join up with 2-3 neighbors and do that for fun. So your 5-year-old vocabulary where flowers is concerned will improve immensely. When you put ice in the fridge, the ice turns solid. Because the majority of parents, the majority of children who are in school today, their parents went to secondary school. You know that chemistry is involved. When you cooking, chemistry is involved. When you have a scale weighing things in the house, physics is involved. When you go and do your hair, chemistry is involved. Parents have some long eyebrow. They like fun. The hairdresser must involve in some form of chemistry to mix up all this glue on them to glue over your eyelash. If we learn to incorporate these things in our daily life, and the parents have enough basic education with a little encouragement from everybody else, it will be more fun rather than a formal class. Every time the drum beat, children whining. The little 2 years old and 3-year-old and 4-year-old, if you see them dance, you'll think some professional choreography is involved. And some of these songs rough, you know. They say what to sell. And if you see the children whine and give action, what to sell. And some saying, we go pay. Now, if the kids, if these little 5-year and 3-year-old and 4-year-old could react in such a beautiful manner to these songs, then why not teach your children music? Why not teach them to play the guitar, the organ, the piano, the saxophone, the mouth organ? Why not? And I know you're going to tell me you don't have money. So that's why I'm saying blow the shell. Because it's $5 for a shell with the lamb in it. Some people very good at blowing their fingers. Because when your child starts at a very small age, they could develop that. If you find your child could sing, then let the child join the church choir. And that means you should be sending your children to church. You cannot do it alone. Parents, women, you cannot do it alone. The church is going to help you, irrespective of which church. Send your children to church. Involve them in the choir, the groups in the church. We have to do better with our children. Bless your children in the morning time. Pray for them. Lay your hands on them. Encourage them to make the sign of the cross. Your child is a gift from God. Nobody may not take interest in your child as you could do. And if you take interest in your child, then more people will take positive interest in your child. By the time your child is 16 years old, around 16, 15, 16, 17, they are exiting secondary school and they should have the basic requirement. It's not hard. It has nothing to do with genetics. To say my child bright and your child dunce, or your child bright and Jane child dunce. No. It has everything to do with the environment. The environment around that child. The interests of the parents. And you hear me constantly say women. Why do you think I say women? The women in Jerusalem, they're mourning for Christ. Them man hide, they run. They didn't mourn it. Christ said, women of Jerusalem. I hope I'm saying it right. He tell them, don't mourn for him. Mourn for you and your children. So if Christ could call on women, who is me? The statistics in Grenada says that 60% of our women leads the household. And if you have a hunger for education and you want the man to get hungry, the man will get hungry too. Even though he pretend. The man is going to do what you tell him. A man does do what you tell him. If you tell him, let's go in party, he gone, you know. If you tell him, wine low, he whining low. So if you encourage him to give you support where the education of your child is concerned, he's going to give you support. We could change this thing in Grenada overnight. Yeah. But we cannot say everybody saying it's not me. The teachers say it's not them. I don't agree with the teachers. The teachers are the ones that are paid to teach, not the parents. The teachers are paid to teach. They are more qualified now than any time in our history. They are better paid than any time in our history. The facilities that they work with today are better than yesteryear. The technology that they have available at their fingertips today is better than yesteryear. So I don't agree when they're saying it's not them. But remember, it's your child. It's your gift. So you must develop that hunger for education. Parents will buy a shirt for $300, or not a shirt, it's clothes, for whatever money, X money, for the children to go to a wedding or a birthday party or whatever. But that same parents would not want to pay $5 or $10 a week for a neighbor child to help their child with their homework. 4 or 5 parents could come together and get individuals in the very community to help the children with their homework. Some of them will do it for you free if you're respectable to them. Some of them, if you give them $10, they'll do it. Because it's retired people. They're not about money. Some of them have a lot of time. They're just there drinking rum in the shop. They don't have nothing to do. They get bored. But sometimes we have no respect for the elderly. 4 or 5 parents could do it. You have to understand that some of the people who are successful, whose children are successful, they are doing that. They are providing additional lessons and class and counsel for the children. We have a habit running down the success stories in the village. We're running them down. We say they're dealing. They're wicked. They're bad. They don't help nobody. Particularly if you're a businessman or you're a success story. And we do it in front of our children. Rather than admiring the success stories or looking at how hard they work. Because in a Grenada context, most of the people who are successful in terms of financial success or material success or even academic success, they work hard. And with children is using them as reference and a catalyst to motivate and encourage our children. Voices on the radio encouraging our parents to do more. We don't have enough voices. Maybe more of the radio personalities should do it. Encourage the women of our country to do more. I always call the women. A man could say the child is not his. Woman can't say that. The child is ours. I never see a woman that make a child yet and they say the child is not the woman. Some men, you have to run behind them to mind the child. So that's why I address the issue with women. You see, if your child exits school and they don't have the basic education, it becomes more difficult for them to be competitive on the job market. It's easier for them to lose their jobs for a long period. The statistics will tell you that the majority of people in prison did not have a basic education on exiting school. The majority of people on the breadline, unemployed, did not have a good education. In years gone by, the government recognized that. That is why the government introduced the Imani program. And over 3,000 young people were employed one time in the program to give them a second chance at getting the basic education, to give them some work experience, to give them opportunity to get some money. They say it's a stipend. I say it's money. Pay. To give them an opportunity to be more disciplined and to get work experience. Now, if we do better in school, there will be less need for programs like the Imani program, or these programs will be more sophisticated. We have to remember the majority of children that is struggling on the market, that is easy for the politicians to fire, did not have a good education on exiting school. So I want to appeal to parents to do all in your power, all you can. Don't give up. You don't spend a long time making this child already. You could do more. Insist that your child do maths in school. Maths is important. It's not hard. It's not hard. If you incorporate it in your whole life, it's not hard. You're always checking and adding, and you're checking money, and you have to pay tax and electricity bill and telephone bill. All that is maths. If you spouse, when you say husband, you just have few people getting married. When you say boyfriend, you look at song in our court. Some people too big to a boyfriend. So I like to say spouse. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, punch. What have we lost that caller? Caller, try again. You're there, but we were not hearing you, so pick up the telephone and call us again. The number to call is 442-0175. So we want to appeal to parents to do more. We can't go to the government. We can't go to the teachers. They say it's not them. They wash their hand. So we have to appeal to the parents. Women of this country, you could do much more. Don't let no one say to you that your child is not academically inclined. It's another way of saying your child don't. That is not good. Let your child learn to do mathematics and chemistry and biology and physics. These are very important basic subjects. English language, French and Spanish. If your child exits school with these subjects, they can easily branch off in any direction. Once your child comes to school and they have mathematics, biology, chemistry, physics, and English language. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, welcome.
Mrs. George here.
Yes, thank you very much.
I just want to extend my very best wishes to all the teachers, students, everybody in learning institutions this morning, today. I want to wish them the very best. I know for some it's a challenge, but as you have been imploring, I hope parents would please do their role despite. I came from humble beginnings. My parents couldn't suit me off in
Poor like church mice.
but what they did was prepare me mentally to work hard so that I can be successful. I want to commend the opposition for the press this morning. I think it's an excellent start, and that was a great initiative. And so we all have to continue to pray for our children, pray for our young people, and they will do well. Once we continue, God answers prayers. I want to specifically commend the SEED students who have done well at the CXC. I got some preliminary reports, and they are outstanding. So, to those persons, congratulations. To the parents, hats off to you. I know it was not easy, but you made it. My heart always goes out to the mothers. And I heard you this earlier, especially the single mothers. Gosh, I know it's tough. I've been there. But again, continue to pray, continue to encourage. Little things you can do to encourage your children. Value whatever they do well, their achievements, regardless of how small. Big them up, okay? So, let me say again my very best wishes to my alma mater and where my heart is right now, St. Mary's RC. You know you have my very best wishes. And as you said, Mr. Pierre, those of us who have retired, we are more than willing to help. Just call, and I know I am here, and I can speak to a number of my colleagues who have retired. So all the best again to the students, teachers of our nation. My best wishes.
Yes,
Thank you, Mr.
scholar.
Pierre.
Yes, scholar. Thank you very much. I know how you feel about those involved in the SEED program, because from your history, you'll know that those in the SEED program, if it wasn't that intervention, you would have get lost. It was so easy to get lost. When you watch and you see all your comrades in school, some of them in the mental institute, some of them in jail, some of them every minute in the police station as they walking there, and you know that you was not better off than them in school. You was not brighter than them. You was not more intelligent than them. But just because of parental support, you escape. You know you could have been in jail too. But you know you escape just because of parental support. And that is why I scream on a daily basis. Stretch a hand down for them. Give them a chance. They are not bad people. They are not what you say, they're not academically inclined. That is not true. All we need is to give them support. If all you had is support, you give the support is better for them. All you provide the support for children is better for them. That's why you see I'll always scream out for the people under the SEED program. The word they used to describe we poor as church mice. And both callers before, the one who called first, Panju, all of us come out from the same grouping that people say you poor as church mice. But because of sometimes you find out what made you parents understand the power of education so much. That make a difference, just a little education. A woman tell me yesterday, you must talk about man too. You only run in your mouth on woman. I had to quote Jesus Christ for what he tell the women in Jerusalem. I say Christ and all didn't bother with the men. But I say to men, if you're proud of yourself, if you're feeling good about yourself, then you're supposed to want to provide more for your children. When a woman takes you to court, the magistrate charges you $150. That is good because the magistrate knows sometimes you're not working on a steady basis. But you see, when you're with that woman, you're able to provide time and support for her. So the breadfruit you get, the coconut you get, the drain you fix, the yard you cutlass, just your companionship with her is invaluable. So I want to appeal to men not to abandon your children. And some boys, you must help your sister too. Sometimes your sister makes children, she mouth rude. She fix you up when you're talking to her. When you're telling her big hole there down there, if you go down there, you will fall in the hole. She fix you up. But still, help her. No matter she bad mouth. When she have children, give her assistance. Sometimes the amount of money man spend on rum. And if you drink rum, take a drink. Everybody at passing, take a drink. But then you have your child, you're buying a tin of milk them. And you have your sister struggling. So we want to ask them, we in this thing together. You see, if you don't help your children, or if you take care of your children alone, yes, you're financially obligated to your children. But if you don't help them, then they're going to end up with other children and you're going to have some bad grandchildren. And you contributed to it. So we want to encourage all Grenadians. None of us live in a vacuum. You want to encourage them. And you could give me a call. Somebody give me a last call, man. The subject matter sometimes is not powerful enough to attract many callers. But give me a call. The number to call is 442-0175. Our children are going back to school. They're starting the school. Yeah, they need support. The bus drivers on the road, sometimes they give a lot of support to children. Sometimes the children don't give them money. Sometimes they save their money for the cut cake and they don't pay the driver. And I know sometimes drivers really reach out to. And conductors stop to help them cross the road. All of us in these things together. The children of the nation is the future. And based upon what we do with the future, we're going to stand the consequences. So we want to encourage all who is involved. Don't give up. Try to get your children to learn French and Spanish. That's important in school. French and Spanish. We have over 500 soca artists. And if some of them could have speak Spanish, they might have able to attract the Spanish market. Remember, Grenada have only 110,000 people on our strongest day. You have millions of people in South America. And one tune that you're struggling to make $1,000 within Grenada, you may able to make millions of dollars with it in Latin America. So if you have a good voice and you want to sing calypso or soca or whatever, make a special attempt and learn a foreign language. Nothing is wrong with doing 25 subjects. Nothing is wrong with that. That is bragging rights. But the basic subjects in school, maths, chemistry, physics, biology, English language, and you're ramming French and Spanish with that. If you have a good voice as early as possible, get your children singing in choir. I know cultural clubs or groups in the schools no more. Maybe 4 or 5 parents have to come together and let the children sing. Encourage your children in the church. Too many people are walking away from the church without reason and without justification. The secular world might be diluting the significance of the church, but they don't have any replacer that is good. I have not heard one replacer that is good. Even the atheists, no replacer. So while you might be condemning the church, lob, stock, and barrel, but the values that the church have and the opportunities that the church have, parents, encourage your children to go to church. Women, encourage your man, your spouse. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Glad to hear your voice. Nobody calling me, so I get worried.
How was your weekend?
Great, good weekend.
By God's grace, that's good.
Yeah.
So what I have to say now, a long time used to have village group, and children used to learn to dance and learn to sing, parents with them. But now politics divide and take over everything, so this child is talking to this person, this person is talking to this person because of politics. So that is why the children had to go hayway.
Well, I don't think it's that bad yet, but we could always refocus. You have parents in community, you have your children, you could come together. Some children have very good voices.
Of course.
Yeah, and you could bring in somebody to help them do voice control.
I used to have people
and sing.
teaching them to dance ballet,
Yeah.
teaching them to dance heel and toe, and you teach them to blow the moutagan and blow the flute, the kokolu, how you used to call it.
Yeah.
And all children used to unite. Elderly used to be in the moonlight taking out stories for us, telling us Nancy stories, but that gone down the drain.
Yeah.
You don't have no unity again. All we have to pray for everybody unite and look out for one another. The thing could change.
We have to practice unity.
Where we practice,
Yeah.
but if I practicing and the others don't practicing,
Still don't stop.
well, I don't stop and I do not. I have
Yeah,
to.
you continue.
Yeah. Anyhow, our glass school open and everybody go out in full bloom. So I pray that peace and unity and the drivers and everybody will be in one accord. Everybody look out for one another.
Yes, Scholar, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, and as we come to the end, the end of the program, the people who are teaching the physically challenged people, the people who are blind, music is an important thing to teach them. When you look at some of the blind musicians that made millions in the world, if you are in a blind school or whatever, music should be part of the subject matter that you use their significance. We could change things, you know. If we want to, we could change things. We come to the end of our program and we're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another program of On Target.